Hey YouTube, JP Dillon. Today we're looking at a 1958 Olympic Model 441 All-American 5 AM radio. This was a pickup at a flea market type thing. I wouldn't exactly call it that, but whatever. The price was right. It's complete. It looks good for the most part, except for a little chip on the foot over there. And I haven't plugged it in yet, so we're going to see what it needs and get it serviced and working, because I kind of like it. So obviously the first thing we'll do is I'm just going to juice it, and we're just going to see what it does, if anything. So now we wait. To be goodness. Coming up on the 30-second mark. No sound, no nothing. No hum. I don't think anything's happening. Let's take a look in the back. Nope, it's dark. Dark, dark, dark. Okay, so nothing's lighting up. So let's just do a quick test here and see if we get anything through the line cord when we hit the switch. Give me a second to get the probes in the cord here. Alright, so when I flick the switch, nothing. You get a super high resistance, but really nothing. Alright, let's take it apart and see what we see. Alright, so here it is out of the cabinet. The first thing I found when I took it out was this chunk of bumblebee here. Not uncommon for those to explode. And that would be that guy up in there with its guts puked out. Very simple. There's like 3 coupling capacitors in the entire thing. Not much to it. And then you've got your main filter there. So the first things first, we'll check the cord, we'll check the power switch, and then we'll check the filament string and see which one of these things is out. Had a critter living in here at some point, a spider of some kind. You can see its little web that was hanging there. Doesn't look like it's ever been serviced, looks pretty virgin. So let's see what the meter says about our switch. Alright, let's test the switch. Switch is good. Let's test the cord. Alright, there's one side of the cord, but here's the other side of the cord. If I wiggle it, move it around, you can see that it's not doing so hot. If I bend it into the right spot, yeah. So, decidedly the cord's bad. So we're going to go ahead and replace this. And I'll use a polarized one so that the neutral wide goes to the ground side. Keeps it a little less hot. So, let's get a new cord. Alright, so on these new cords, usually the wide blade is the one with the stripe on it. That's your neutral. And you want that to go to the chassis, since this is a line-operated thing. That lessens the probability, assuming your house is wired correctly, that you're going to get shocked touching the hot chassis. Because before the days of polarized plugs, you plug it in one way, the chassis got 120 volts on it. Plug it in the other way, and it doesn't. Problem is that you don't know what that is. Most people aren't going to have a meter standing by going, gee, am I going to get the shit shocked out of me today or not? So you can see here that one side, the hot side, comes in and starts on the filament string and whatever, and the other side of the AC line through the switch goes right to the chassis. You've got this guy here which goes right to your chassis ground, so we're going to put it in that way. And then once the cord's in, we can fire it up again and see if it does anything. Alright, so we've got our new power cord in there. Now, while I'm in here, I'm going to change out that bumblebee cap because, as you can see here, it exploded. Left a small fire underneath the chassis here. So this is why we say replace all these bumblebees, because they like to explode. This is a fine example of that. And all these old parts were never really great when they were new, and they're more so now as they age, have a greater tendency to short and explode. And this was the cap that went from the AC line to the chassis and created a dead short, probably for the briefest of moments before this burned open. And that could have been what hurt the line cord, who knows. But anyway, I'm just going to replace it with one of these 0.047 630 volt Panasonic films. Really good little caps for the money. So we'll change that out, and then we'll see what else this thing does. Alright, capacitor's in. Now when we turn it on, we see that there's still no continuity. You would think I'd at least get something. But let's see if that's just looking into a capacitor. And fire it up. And still nothing. Wiggle some tubes here. Alright, I got nothing. So obviously we have an open filament somewhere. Let's see if we can follow where it goes. Alright, so we're going to start from the filament line. First, let's just double check that we have 120 volts here. Yes, we do. Okay, so filament starts here. There's our 130 volts there. And now let's go to the next filament line here. 130 volts there. And let's follow that. Looks like there. Yep, still got our 130 volts there. And let's go over here. 130 volts there. Camera's freaking out. And then let's go up here. 130 volts there. 130 volts there. So why is the filament string not lighting? I don't see anything lit up. That's very interesting. So either I'm not taking the measurement correctly, or something else is going on here. So it looks like they're of course I've got like 130 volts everywhere. How is that possible? That can't be right. Yeah, I'm not taking a measurement right here. Let's see now. There we go. Alright, so 130 volts there at the rectifier. But nothing coming out of said rectifier. So there's a good chance that that rectifier filament's open. One thing I could do is jumper across it momentarily and just put it on like a bulb or something like that and see if the other tubes light up. Alright, now I'm not going to do this very long just because it'll be dumping AC directly into the filter capacitor, which might hurt it, but when I turn it on, you can now see it draws current. And the rest of the filaments light up. So that rectifier is indeed have an open filament. So let's go ahead and replace that one and then power it on again. It's probably 35Z5. That's what they almost always are. Alright, so go figure, out of all the inventory that I have, I can't find a 35Z5 here, so I'll have to go into storage and get one. But I'm feeling impatient today, so we're going to do something a little unconventional. I'm going to run it on a 40-watt bulb as a ballast to keep the rest of the things from burning up, since we don't have that rectifier tube filamented series. I have jumpered from the AC to the rest of the filament line so the rest of the tubes will light. And I've taken a solid state rectifier and just gone from the AC line right to the filter capacitor. So we're going to see what this thing does regardless of whether I have a tube in it or not. And if it blows up, great. If not, then, well, we got more stuff to work with. So let's go ahead and fire it up and see really what happens. This should be interesting. And so far, we're not drawing any scary amounts of current. "40-watt bulb's getting pretty dim. Oh, silver mica disease. That's awesome. Well, it's trying to work. Let's see now. I'll attach my antenna and see what else happens here. Alright, so even with the antenna attached, you don't get much of anything. We've got silver migration in the IF cans. It's a lovely noise, but amazingly the filter can's still alive. Remarkable. Filament's not lit too bright, so our ballast does a good job of holding that down. But this allows us to run it. It's interesting how they have the alignment marks there. So another thing we could do to just check and see if the audio works, I'm pretty sure it does, since we have that at least, would be to inject a signal at the high side of the volume control. But realistically, that's where we're at with this one. We need to take the IF cans out, pull them apart, cut the defective capacitors out, and put something on the bottom. Now, yeah, I can do that. I've already got that Calrad that I need to do that on. And this one. This is like a common thing now. 10 years ago, you didn't see this as much, but now it's like every one of these that I see, these old radios that run on these higher voltages, all the cans are just turning to crap. All the silver migrates, it arcs and crackles and sputters. As we can see, we're not getting any RF activity whatsoever. Even with the antenna hooked up and whatnot, it's just IF noise. So something in there is shorted. So, yeah, I'm kind of on the fence of whether I want to pursue this one or not. I've got a ton of other projects, and this is like not on my high priority list. But this is where we're at with it right now. So, if I decide to do more videos on this guy, great. If not, it'll just sit for a while until I have some spare time. So, hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. More projects to come soon. And might start liquidating some old TVs, so I'll do a video on those too when I get around to it. See you next time.